Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and welcome to November. On the 1st of November, you're going to have a new moon in Scorpio at 9 degrees, conjuncting the Sun and also trining Saturn. This new moon is happening in your house of work and routines, competition, health and diet, people you hire to work for you, pets, and so this is your 6th house. And it trines over to Saturn and Pisces in your 10th house of career, public image, father figures, boss, reputation, title. If you are applying for a job now is the time to do it, especially because Mercury is not quite in shadow yet. You could beat out the competition for a raise, promotion, or gain a new title altogether with this combination. And a favorable aspect is beaming over to you from that 10th house of career and authority figures. It would be a very stable new beginning that could give you security financially as well. You could also begin a new health routine that gives you a glow up and vitality and shows a healthier, more fit you by the full moon in Scorpio next May. You could begin a project now that you will have the stamina to see through to completion with Saturn making a trine over to this new moon and the Sun. There could be success and recognition tied to whatever it is that you are beginning now that will develop over the next 6 months. Mars, Mercury, and Neptune are all flowing to each other in a trine at very late degrees on the same day, showing a story around improving or healing a self-esteem or self-worth issue, with Mars working hard in the 2nd Cancer house. And Mars also rules a Scorpio new moon, so there's this other really nice story happening. And due to the retrograde, we'll spend quite a bit of time between that 2nd house of banking and self-worth and your 3rd house, which is also a contract house, but also self-made wealth, business. Mars is talking to Mercury over in the 6th and over to Neptune in the 10th. So you might be working hard through your own efforts on kicking bad habits, healing through your diet, working on an independent project that can yield some kind of gain and recognition in 6 months' time by the time of that Scorpio full moon. Mars will oppose Pluto at this time and stand in opposition throughout the end of the year. It will separate and come back together in April before fully moving on. I really do see you trying to break out of a rut, or you could be working very hard on yourself to transform your life for the better starting now. Because this is happening between the cusp of the 2nd house of self-worth and the 3rd rules your lower education, lower mind, day-to-day thoughts, and the 9th is higher education, a bird's eye view, higher perspectives. You could be cutting away from toxic thought patterns, leaving friends in your area or childhood, or siblings or cousins or family that maybe wasn't necessarily good for you or good to you. And be moving towards that higher 9th house, maybe actually moving abroad to a distant place where you will find home in your group and your people. You could be gaining perspective about your local neighborhood or where you came from. There could be more aggression or arguments with people in your local environment, and you realize that you need to cut these people out of your life to move forward. You could deal with topics of anger and how you handle your emotions, purging old ways of dealing with these things, learning how to better handle difficult situations or how to stick up for yourself and what you believe in. You're evolving as a person, and old beliefs that you once held may not even ring true for you anymore, or may not have even been yours. And these will start to fall away as you step towards your 9th house. You may quite literally be planning for a higher degree or traveling for an extended time, but do be careful. I would rather you do the planning now, not the traveling, as Mercury will be in retrograde shadow in a few days and for an extended amount of time in Sag, who rules long-distance travel, but we're also dealing with a Mars retrograde. At the same time, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune are also making a nice flow to each other. This trine had started last month, and I talked about it then in October. But Pluto is receiving some kind of help from this opposition, which could look like a freedom story from an old version of yourself. It could be through creativity, spirituality, or education, helping you to engage with life and people more than before, especially with Jupiter protecting you in that 1st house. And although Jupiter is retrograde, I feel that you still have that protection and can even be more potent, as he seems to be closer to the Earth while in retrograde. And Jupiter naturally rules the 9th house of higher mind, so I think you have a lot of support in whatever new story about yourself is taking shape or that you're trying to begin now. On the 2nd, Mercury enters Sag in your 7th house of other, where Venus is still transiting. And this is showing a strong focus on the other partner in a serious love relationship, business, or the public, or even contracts, or something like that. Venus is moving closer to a perfect trine with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is in Aries in your 11th house. of friendship, large networks, goals, dreams, lotto wins. And Mercury will also move into a trine with the North Node here and later in the month with Chiron. And then the Sun will move in. So there is this big story and a lot of energy in that 7th house around healing a friendship or a belonging wound, healing in intimate relationships, and discussions could be happening. Could be repairing a friendship or with someone close to you. You could be healing around finally finding your people or your person. You can find love and validation and healing through your closest connections or with a love partner now. Mercury lends to discussions or projects, contracts, written or spoken words that you may begin with the 11th house being involved. And a sense of fate around new people that you meet or messages you receive from groups or a large network. Maybe you're teaming up with someone, or maybe you got an email. Maybe you're teaming up with someone or a group on a social justice or humanitarian movement. Maybe you're, it's through the internet or YouTube or a communication project that you can form that will help others, as the 11th house is a humanitarian house. Some hope, wish, goal, or dream can come true with Venus and later Mercury trining Chiron in the 11th, and then the Sun will do the same, hit the same aspect in a trine to Chiron and the North Node. If contracts come into the picture, try to sign by the 6th through the 8th, no later, as Mercury will be in a shadow phase a good 3 weeks before retrograding and 3 weeks after once it stations direct. Mercury will retrograde on the 22nd, I believe, so sign documents, important contracts, get travel insurance, your gifts for the holidays, keep your receipts for education courses, the Sag rules, education and travel, again, by the 8th, or wait until after by January 2nd. On the 11th, Mars enters Leo, already in shadow, and will fully retrograde by December. Due to the retrograde, Mars will bounce between your 3rd Leo house and your Cancer 2nd until next spring, spending a long time here and highlighting issues around like siblings, communication, creative written or video projects, book writing, social media, self-made, self-worth, your bank account. Immediate family falls under the 2nd house. Education courses and certifications fall in the 3rd. You can be putting a lot of effort in creating a business, as your 3rd Leo house represents self-made wealth. Maybe you're setting up like an Etsy shop for products that you make with your hands, or you're doing a film documentary that you could gain recognition for with Mars and Leo. Also, you could be in collaboration with siblings or a childhood friend or people from your local environment, but you're not going to see those results be complete or show until next spring, most likely May. With Mars heading back into the 2nd Cancer house of banking and self-worth, what you eat, immediate family, land, property, throat, that will happen in January and will stay there until next April. Watch out for too much spending, inflammation, sore throats, fevers, or arguments with family or friends or with people in your community. Mars cuts and burns and is fallen in Cancer, so have a savings plan to protect your money, or have your employer just automatically divide your checks and auto-deduct a portion that will go right into your investments or your savings. You will be driven to increase your self-esteem, your security, your tangible goods. You'll be driven to build your bank account when Mars goes back into Cancer, and that will start in January. Also, if you're planning any kind of facial or oral surgery for a makeover, you can do the planning now, find the people, with the plans to go forward in the spring when Mars will be out of shadow around May 2nd. Mars will sharp instruments, surgery, surgeons, and you don't want surgery if it can be avoided, especially when he's retrograde. To deal with Mars retrograde, do fun things. Keep yourself busy, active, weekly workouts, maybe with a friend or siblings. Dive into your creative projects. When Mars is in Leo, it will sextile you early degree Geminis. I would say from 0 to 7 degrees, that can be felt now until the end of December. And again, when I was talking earlier about that opposition, that's between your 3rd house and your 9th. That opposition will be felt mostly for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising from 0 to 7 degrees. Just forgot to mention that. Whatever's going on, remember you have Jupiter in your 1st house protecting you. Even as Jupiter is retrograde, you still need to take some precautions and care when you're traveling, as 3rd house represents local travel. But again, you do have his protection. So just being a little bit extra careful, that's all. On the 11th, Venus enters Capricorn, your 8th house of secrets, death and rebirth, shared resources, loans, inheritance, addictions can fall here. Deep, intimate bonding, money you don't earn comes in this house for chunky money from others, investments, and it will connect over to your 10th Pisces house. over to Saturn in a positive sextile around the 18th and lasting all the way through the 26th, exact on the 22nd. And at the end of the month, I think it's the 28th, Venus will then move into a trine with Uranus. And the 12th house here rules the hidden enemies, subconscious patterns, rest and seclusion, but also profound spirituality, divine artistic projects and inspiration, debts and foreign money and foreign shores. You could end up having a breakthrough in career or the way that you want to be seen, or the energy and drive to make a change, as Jupiter is in your first house, creating crunchy energy to Venus and Saturn in that, 10th house, and later a flow to the 12th. The story could be positive news around money, chunky money in that 8th house, especially with Venus here for the next few weeks, or if you're gaining money from investments, getting a lucrative loan offer, you're signing documents for money, taxes, etc. Do so no later than the 7th or 8th, as Mercury will be in its shadow. A better time would be January 2nd. An inheritance can show up here. Saturn naturally rules the 10th house and is sitting there in its home. And if you're trying to improve your status or find a new, better paying job, you can do so, especially when Saturn turns direct on the 15th. You can get an interview, and somebody behind closed doors in a powerful position could be pulling for you, or from a position of power. With Venus in that 8th house, they'd be hidden. Maybe you've struggled to prove yourself publicly, or you've been dealing with social anxiety, and Venus is here trying to transform all of these issues with ease from the 8th house, or with an intimate partner. In the 8th, this person that you are deeply intimate with could be helping you heal and deal with how you project yourself out in the world. Last but not least, you could have a hidden relationship with someone in a position of authority or older than you, and I say that because of the Venus-Saturn sextile. That could definitely highlight a hidden love, or you could just be in rest and seclusion, away with a partner, and really be enjoying that time. It's, a good time to do so. Last but not least, there could be a sudden romance with a foreigner, and you can meet while traveling, suddenly or through Uranian ways like the internet. You could also have a sudden breakthrough with issues related to intimacy. Saturn turns direct, and there's a full moon in Taurus conjuncting Uranus in that 12th house. The full moon is receiving good flow from Pluto and Neptune, maybe helping you release some 12th house hidden pain that no one else can see. There could be a shift or a breakthrough and transformation in the areas of self-undoing behavior, pain, addictions, but also maybe finishing a long cycle of rest and seclusion, as the 12th house can represent rest, faraway places, hospitals. Full moons release and Uranus liberates, and this is happening on a very internal level since Jupiter is on the ascendant and trying to pull you out of your shell all the way until next June. There's an opposition to the sun in your 6th house of health, competition, work, and daily routines, and you could be seeking or struggling to free yourself from like a mundane day-to-day life. You could be seeking more autonomy in your schedule and a desire to live life more on your terms. Or insights. You could be having insights around creative artistic projects or charitable causes. On the 19th or 20th, depending on where you are in the world, Pluto finally enters Aquarius for the long haul, fully heading into that 9th house, leaving that murky, mucky 8th house where he naturally rules. The 9th is a luck house. Maybe after doing the battle for your soul, in the 8th, you're emerging into the light. And this makes sense with Jupiter on your ascendant, as Jupiter naturally rules the 9th. You can move to a foreign country. You could travel more over the next 18, 20 years. You can meet a powerful teacher or guru who transforms your life, or you could become that teacher. The 9th house is a good karma we receive from our fathers, but also where you have a chance to build good karma. Grandchildren fall here, second marriages, airplanes, travelers, publishing, legal contracts, the law, the courts, spiritual beliefs, Ivy League college. Any of these topics could be on the table for transformation for you in a positive way. Pluto will at some point trine your sun, moon, or ascendant and is moving into a sign way more favorable for you. So I actually see this as a nice transit for you. It's Pluto, though. It can be transformational at times. Your 5th house of true love, theater, luck, lottery wins, children, romance, fun, and joy will also be powerfully aspected by Pluto from that 9th, bringing you at some point a fated love, a fated child or children, a massively successful novel or creation that you can gain great recognition for. Your life will be unrecognizable by the time this transit is over, and I think it will be for the better, Gemini. Of course, I can't see your personal chart from here. I'm just giving this in broad strokes, but generally looks, I think there can be some good things. On the 21st, the sun enters Sag, your 7th house, and will sextile Pluto in the 9th. You could get away or plan for a long-distance trip with a partner. If you're traveling for the holidays, just get that insurance due to the retrograde, or wait until January 2nd would be a better time to travel. The 7th house, having been lit up so much earlier with Venus transiting there and then Mercury and now the sun, puts a spotlight on another, your serious partner in business or love. You could be realizing your own potential, though, through a partner or people close to you. And you want to spend time with a few close people or your partner. You can also be more popular during this transit or looking more sexy and magnetic, as this is a public house as well. If you have a business, you could be securing contracts and making deals. Just again, be mindful of a possible do-over here, or have your attorney read through any fine print as Mercury goes retrograde on the 26th. Okay, Gemini, that was a long one. We'll see you in December.